We've all probably seen something like this before. It's called a tier list, and we're going to rank some potential future inventions and determine how good are they, with S being the best and F being the worst. I have about 15 of them for you today, and we're going to talk through each one and then determine kind of where they rank. So the first one is autonomous farming. Using AI, drones, and GPS technology, autonomous farming allows for precise control over planting, watering, harvesting, and reducing waste. It has the potential to make farming more sustainable by minimizing resource usage. In 2019, John Deere, a leader in the industry, exhibited a fully autonomous tractor. This isn't just an outdoor thing, as we could see indoor vertical farming using a ton of automation, and even smaller personal farms with indoor hydroponic gardens managing the nutrients in the water and providing insight into when to harvest the plants. I think food is a really important factor going forward, and anything that can reduce the amount of effort that we put into it or increase the amount of yield that we can get is going to be super important. I think autonomous farming is kind of interesting. I saw recently a video of, I think, was it peaches or cherries or something being harvested from trees by drones, and a central robot that was tethered to the drones. It was really interesting. I think autonomous farming is probably going to be an A tier. Next, we have bioprinting organs. This is where we actually create organs from scratch for transplants, potentially ending organ donor shortages. The Wake Forest Institute for Regenerative Medicine bioprinted a functional human kidney all the way back in 2013, and Vantage Market Research has said that bioprinting market size is likely to surpass $5 billion by 2030. I think this is really cool technology and something that we've seen often in shows like Star Trek, and I think that it is a super valuable technology. I don't necessarily think it's going to make a bunch of changes over the next 7 years like Vantage Market Research thinks. So I think that bioprinting organs is kind of more of a C-tier technology. Next, we have brain-to-computer interfaces. You've probably heard about Elon Musk's Neuralink, where they were able to get a chimpanzee or ape connected to play Pong with its brain. I think that's really cool, but not necessarily what I want to use the technology for or hope that the technology will be used for. This will allow for controlling devices and even computer software with your thoughts. It holds great promise for enabling paralyzed individuals to move prosthetic limbs. I think brain-to-computer interfaces is probably one of the technologies that's going to change us the most. We talk about AI and the things that are happening in that space, and I think that with the right brain-to-computer interface, we're all going to get the upgrade that we need to keep up with technology. So I think brain-to-computer interfaces is probably a B-tier technology. Extended reality. So this is augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality. I put them all in one tile because the technologies are pretty much overlapping at this point. I actually just saw the other day they were talking about smart contact lenses with a really thin battery, potentially even being powered by your tears. I don't get it, but it's really cool in terms of the idea of technology, and the applications are pretty much endless. Education, training, healthcare, entertainment are all benefiting from this technology. The global market for XR technology is expected to reach $463 billion US dollars by 2026. That's only 3 years away, not even. And for me, the use that I would want is for something to help me remember people's names. I don't know why I'm so bad at that. I think this technology is probably, pretty much here, and there's some more advancements to be done for sure. But I don't think it's necessarily going to revolutionize the world, unfortunately. I think it's super interesting, super useful, but I think it's just kind of a C-tier technology. Faster than light space travel. This is the ultimate Star Trek dream, isn't it? We see it in Star Wars, Star Trek, pretty much every science fiction show with a spaceship. Pretty much all of them talk about faster than light space travel. And what might not be possible, especially in my lifetime, if we can make it work, it could be transformational. Concepts like the Alcubierre warp drive theory challenge our understanding of physics. It is still very theoretical, but if possible, it will likely require immense amounts of power generation to do. We have so many things that we need to work on here at home. I think that the ability to travel great distances will expand the way we look at ourselves and at the universe, and that's great. And as much as I like this technology, I have to kind of put it as an F-tier technology. I'm sorry. I know that might offend some of you, but I just don't see it being impactful for a very long time. I see it being kind of a distraction in some ways from the other things that we need to do on our planet. And so that's why I put it in F tier. You let me know in the comments if you think that was a huge mistake. Next up, we have flying cars or flying personal vehicles. Again, I think this is something that's already starting to happen. Many believe flying cars could become a reality by 2035, though we are already seeing many different prototypes. The biggest challenges seem to be noise, carrying capacity, and fuel source. But a recent concept from Applied eVTOL Concepts called the Epiphany Transporter only generated around 55 dB of noise at 50 feet, comparable to typical speaking volume. I think it'd be a lot of fun. There's a lot less traffic if you can stack things up rather than kind of always just kind of moving in X and Y over top of each other. I don't know if anyone has ever driven through Toronto on the 401 during rush hour, but that is horrible, and the first thing you wish for is the ability to fly over the traffic. I think that this technology won't actually be that transformational in some ways. It's probably going to be very common for the wealthy to use something like this. We already have something called a helicopter, so with that in mind, I think the best that this technology could do would be a D-tier technology. Next up, we have fusion power generation. So we know that this is a thing. You know, we've had 2 tests that have proven that we can generate power in this way. This is the power of the sun. This is a potential for endless clean energy. I think that if we're going to reach the kind of future that I'm hoping for, abundant, clean, renewable energy is going to be key to all of that. And so I'd love to say that this is an S-tier technology. The fact that just like nuclear power, the development time is going to be so long, I think the best that it can do is A-tier. Next up, we have gene editing. So we have CRISPR and Fanzor technologies, which enable precise changes of DNA, offering cures to genetic diseases. It does require careful consideration due to the potential impact on human evolution. If you haven't seen the movie Gattaca, I highly recommend checking it out. Very cool movie. A little cerebral and a little heavy-handed, but I thought it was an interesting take on what could happen with gene editing. I think though, like in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, or rather in Star Trek's history, we could see this technology being abused in various ways, just like in Gattaca, where there will be a group of have-nots in society who don't have the ability to do this. There are opportunities for rapid healing. There are opportunities for increasing intelligence, increasing muscle performance. So beyond just kind of solving the issues that exist in our genome today, there's an opportunity to kind of improve humanity through selective genetic editing. And I think that that is probably the part that worries people the most. And so with that in mind, I think we have a B-tier technology. Graphene is one of those technologies that has been talked about for a very long time, kind of like fusion. It is 200 times stronger than steel, yet incredibly thin and flexible. They want to use it pretty much for everything from electronics to medical devices. The applications are super vast. But because it's like the holy grail of materials, of course it's not easy to manufacture. I remember seeing a demo not too long ago, like in the last couple of years, where they were showing like the best way to make, you know, thin graphene layers is like tape. It's like, wait, what? So this is a technology that will definitely revolutionize the world that we live in if we can figure out how to mass manufacture it in a cheap, effective, and performant way. And I think it'll actually impact a lot of the technologies on this list if we can do that. And so with that in mind, I'm going to say graphene's kind of an S-tier technology. I don't see, other than the fact that we can't manufacture it very well yet, I don't see any downsides with graphene. Let me know if I'm missing something there, if I'm wrong about that. Next up, we have Hyperloops and high-speed rail. I put both of these together as they're about ground transportation at high speeds, with lower potential costs and the ability to kind of move more people in a rapid way. The Hyperloop could potentially reach speeds of over 700 miles per hour, or around 1,100 kilometers per hour. And high-speed rail is typically in systems that go above 120 miles per hour or around 200 kilometers per hour. I live in Canada, and we are severely lagging when it comes to high-speed rail. High-speed rail is barely on anyone's talking points here in Canada, unlike countries like Japan and China, which are leading in high-speed rail technology. There's many places in Europe that has high-speed rail technology. No one has deployed a massive Hyperloop system yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the next few years that happens. How much or how little this technology will revolutionize the world that we live in will really depend on the cost of use for an end user, how easy it is to use those systems, how inexpensive, how regular the systems are, how little maintenance they need, how profitable they are. So there's lots of different factors when it comes to Hyperloops. And so with that in mind, I think we're going to have to go with the flying cars down here in D-Town. Next up, we have Nanorobotics. So these are robots at the molecular level with applications in medicine, manufacturing, and so much more. They could potentially deliver drugs to specific cells or perform cellular repairs. So this is another way that we could have like really fast, like mutant healing, so to speak, like Wolverine, which would be really neat. Currently, this technology is at a market size of around $7.5 billion US and is expected to reach a market size of $17.5 billion US by 2030. It's only 7 years away. We are very early in this technology, and other than what we've seen in fiction, we don't have a great understanding of all the ways this technology could be used, either on its own or in combinations with other technologies. And with that in mind, I think this is really a B-tier technology. Quantum computing. This is a thing that exists. It's already happening. It's already here. But much like early transistors, we're still figuring out how to build quantum computers with a lot of qubits to be able to do actions that are unique and different than traditional computers. There have been huge promises that quantum computers will solve complex problems that classical computers can't handle, and this has been proven to be the case in very narrow circumstances. I think the expectation from society, including myself, was that quantum computers would just take over as the new way to have computers and they would just be faster than anything else that we're used to. But it seems like the technology is more valuable for very specific needs. One big idea that comes along with quantum computing is the fact that it could make traditional encryption systems completely useless. Also, it's really only like the big brain companies that are working on this technology right now, IBM, Google, and others, are advancing this field with ongoing research and development. But we as a society haven't really seen much forward motion thanks to quantum computing. And I don't know how long it'll be until that happens. And so with that in mind, I'm going to say quantum computing is kind of an F-tier technology. Next up, space elevators. I mean, SpaceX is launching rockets on a weekly or more than weekly basis at this point. They are one of multiple companies that are launching things into orbit. Space elevators was supposed to be the saving grace for inexpensive ways to launch multiple systems into orbit and beyond, and it hasn't happened. And that's primarily due to being able to develop materials strong enough for the tether. It has to be strong, it has to be potentially flexible, it has to be fairly thin, it has to be so many different functions and features with the tether material that it has become just a horrible obstacle. There hasn't been a visionary that's been focused on making it happen. And I don't know that it ever will. I think it might remain something that's more science fiction than science fact. And with that, I'm going to put it in F tier. Next up, we have universal translation. So real-time universal translation is not something that we really have all the way yet. Google Translate and other apps are kind of making this a reality, but it's not ubiquitous yet, and it's not near real time. And that's really what we need to see when it comes to universal translation. I think, though, that this will help break down so many barriers. I've even seen translation tools that can help translate in both directions for sign language, so being able to use the camera to see what someone is signing and translate that into audio for English, or vice versa, taking audio and translating that into visualizations of different signs. I don't know that making the signs makes a huge amount of sense, but it would be a great opportunity for learning, if nothing else. I'm kind of looking forward to this technology, especially because learning languages is so very hard. But I think this is a C-tier technology. And finally, we have wireless energy transmission. So this allows powering devices without physical connectors. Nikola Tesla was likely a pioneer in this field over a century ago. Wireless charging for smartphones is pretty commonplace at this point, and there are more ambitious projects underway. There's directed energy transmission, there's long distance wireless energy transmission, there's microwave energy transmission, there's laser-based energy transmission. This technology would be very impactful when we're talking about the range of like flying cars, or if we're talking about untethered XR experiences like VR and AR. If we're talking about powering, nanorobotics, if we're talking about powering brain-computer interfaces, you can quickly see how this technology could be impactful pretty much across the board with so many of these things if done correctly. And so with that in mind, I think that would make it an A-tier technology. And so we really only had one S-tier technology today, and that was graphene. Let me know in the comments what you thought of that. And if you're interested in some of these technologies, please make sure to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to talking about each one of these in more detail in videos in the future.